And this is Lucy. There's problems. Now, these are the Laetoli footprints. They're 10 inches, okay? And Lucy's 3.5 feet, and she's supposed to make them. But there's no wiggle room here. This is St. Cloud State's general ed textbook. It says, Lucy most definitely walked upright. Not might have, not could have, most definitely. And then down at the bottom, they reinforce it. They definitely walked upright. Well, this is the Laetoli track, and they look just like human footprints, like they walked in the sand. And Johanson, he's got a problem with the knee, because his co-discoverer says it's an ape. He's got a problem with the hip, because people are seeing that, hey, that's not right. You shouldn't twist it like that. So this trackway became Dr. Johanson's strongest piece of evidence for Lucy walking upright on 2 feet. And Lucy was found, these tracks are like about 1,000 miles away from where they found Lucy. And so they say that's our evidence that she walked upright. Look at those footprints. One's a chimp, one's a human, and that's Laetoli in the middle. What is that? Is that a human or a chimp in the middle? You know, the chimp, the big toe shoots way out to the side. You don't see that in the Laetoli one. But this is where the fraud comes in. He said the only hominid present in the Laetoli deposit was the Lucy type, and by inference, the footprints must have been made by members of this species. So he's saying that's all the fossils we found. But then when Dr. Werner went to Laetoli over in Africa, and he said, yeah, could I take pictures, photograph your fossils? And it's Laetoli 1, fossil 1 comes out, and it's like a jaw. Laetoli 2, something else. Gets out to Laetoli 18, it's a human skull. And again, he almost fell off his chair. It's like there weren't any human skulls here, according to all the journal entries, and yet there was. And he didn't say that. And instead, Dr. Johanson had the opportunity to correct his misstatements in 1997, but he didn't. And he had and in his 2002 interview with the author, he didn't. This is the second example of Dr. Johanson seemingly and knowingly providing false information when communicating with the public about the ape man, Lucy. The first example was his false statement concerning Lucy's knee. This is the Cold Spring curriculum, and it said Lucy is a remarkably complete skeleton. So remarkably complete, and this is St. Cloud State's general ed textbook. Lucy has a nearly complete skeleton. So remarkably complete, nearly complete. Does that look remarkably complete? Does that look nearly complete? So those are two fraudulent statements that they gave to our kids, and this is what they make out of them. Notice there's no hand bones or feet bones, but what do they put on Lucy? Hands and feet and whites by the eye. They're trying to make that monkey into an ape man. And that monkey is 3.5 feet tall, and it's supposed to make 10-inch footprints over in Laetoli. It's pretty embarrassing. But then they found more of that species, and they find her hands and feet are curved like a chimp. And Carl Werner has documentation that says they're more curved than a chimp. And the discoverer there, that's Dr. Johanson, he said Lucy's knee was human. And when Dr. Werner went over to France and interviewed the co-director of that dig and asked him about the knee, that guy said it's an ape. And Carl Werner almost fell off his chair. It's like, it's an ape? What do you mean? Everywhere you look, it's human. He says, no, it's ape. But you never hear that. And then let's look at the hip. Okay, the hip on the left is a chimp. The hip on the right is a human. And the hip in the middle is Lucy. What does that look like? A chimp or a human? It looks like a chimp, right. But they didn't want that. You don't get money for finding chimps. You got to find ape men. And so what do? Do they change the theory to fit the evidence, or do they change the evidence to fit the theory? Well, let's just take a look at In Search of Human Origins. This is part 2. This is a NOVA documentary. And let's do it first. At first he says the perfect fit is a chimp. So it should be a chimp. Just leave it alone, but they don't.
The perfect fit was an illusion that made Lucy's hip bones seem to flare out like a chimp's. But all was not lost. Lovejoy decided he could restore the pelvis to its natural shape. He didn't want to tamper with the original, so he made a copy in plaster. He cut the damaged pieces out and put them back together the way they were before Lucy died. It was a tricky job, but after taking the kink out of the pelvis, it all fit together perfectly, like a three-dimensional jigsaw puzzle. As a result, the angle of the hip looks nothing like a chimp's, but a lot like ours.
Yeah, I would hope so, if you cut it apart and put it back the way you want. You know, and I was at a kiosk next to the anthropology department, and I mentioned this to them, and they said, they didn't do that. And I said, sure they did. Do you want to see it? I had my computer right there. No, I don't want to see it. You know, don't let the facts get in the way of a good story. So is this kind of validating what Heckel's saying? Everybody's doing it?